You know, even in times of red, there is one thing that you can always count on when it comes to Cardano, and that is progress. 2025 has obviously been a very great year in terms of progress, but you know, we always want more. We always want to take bigger steps forward. And I want to highlight actually a few things that Charles Hoskinson has said about the coming weeks and months here when it comes to Cardano. Do want to talk about a few price things here as well. I want to talk about another thing that we figured would happen and has taken place as well. Could this lead to some pretty exciting movements? So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. But let's dive into this because Charles Hoskinson has actually now been floating a potential base integration. So he says there's a lot of discussion about potentially doing stuff with base, and there are a lot of things that we have that we think would benefit the Coinbase ecosystem. So this is again coming back to this point of Cardano kind of leaching out into all these different spaces. And I really feel at some point we do have to get one, right? We really got to get one major integration first. But once that first one drops, I believe the ball is going to start rolling very, very quickly. We've obviously had discussions with Chainlink. We've had discussions with Ripple. We were having discussions with obviously Base and the Coinbase ecosystem as well. And maybe midnight is officially the bridge that kind of ties it all together. But big progress is the plan heading here into 2026. In fact, he said in the coming weeks and months, you're going to see announcements, collaborations, joint efforts, and a reset in all the relationships that we're going to move forward with one voice to get what we need done in 2026. So 2026 has the potential to be a big year, just as 2025 had the potential to be a big year. Same with 2024. And I would say that it seems like each and every one of these years, although it may not be up to people's expectations, we are making more and more and more progress. And obviously with the launch of Midnight coming, with the launch of Ouroboros Laos, these are some pretty big ticket things that can help accelerate us into the future. But something else I wanted to talk about here as well is I think people recognize this, right? Not everybody's the most vocal. A lot of people are very vocal when it comes to price, but a lot of people just continue to build for the future. And that's what I'm about, right? I'm about the future performance in terms of ADA. I'm about the future performance in terms of the Cardano ecosystem. And even though last week we did have an exchange inflow week, which is very rare, just for context, gosh, since the start of 2024, we've only had now 5 inflow weeks in history to exchanges. We have already seen this week, now at 7:05 a.m. Central Standard Time on Monday, already envelop the entire week of inflows we saw last week. And it's like I've said, usually when we have a week of inflow, it leads into some big weeks of outflows. And obviously with this coinciding with low ADA price, I would consider the outflows tend to be larger. People take advantage of the dip and they tend to move assets to cold storage. And again, we're still waiting for obviously demand now to catch up yet again. It seems like demand had caught up to price, but it fell again just over the course of the weekend, and because of the PTSD and liquidations, and that can happen from time to time, right? But there are some pretty interesting posts that I found. This is actually data from Sentiment. What it shows is that right now Cardano is in the extreme undervaluation undervaluation zone. This is from iAlert, actually, with a couple good posts here. And I feel like, you know, ADA had been doing very well over the course of 2025 compared to some other assets. And then as of late, it's kind of gotten a little bit quiet, right? It's had some days that have been a little bit bigger of a drop than others. It's held up pretty decent versus BTC, pretty decent versus Ethereum, but could this in fact be the zone where we're seeing big accumulation take place? Could this be the zone where you're seeing large entities fill out their wallets? And actually, I wanted to address this post quick. This is from Zimstern. Hopefully I said that right. He said Cardano has lost a lot of investors. And what I want to remind people of is over the course of 2025, whales have increased their holdings. Over the course of 2025, the number of holders has increased. So you're actually not seeing this at all. You are seeing progress. You are seeing the ecosystem continue to gain in terms of traction, if that makes sense. And actually something else worth noting here as well is ADA has the first monthly bullish RSI divergence since March of 2020. All right. And what Eilert said is it may take a little while to play out, but valid as long as we don't see a monthly close below 34.18. So hopefully that doesn't happen. This might be tough to see the month start off red, but this is a good setup. And we'll obviously see if that's the case as the month rolls on. I still think December, even though it started off on an ugly red note, has the opportunity to be very positive and very bullish for the markets. And again, it's going to be a question of what news do we get? Do we get this rate cut? Do we see the Fed start to expand their balance sheet in a more aggressive way? Do we get ETFs? Do we get Clarity Act, right? There's a lot of things that could be, again, that win in our sails to see some excitement. Maybe even some of these integrations and announcements and collaborations for the ecosystem could be exactly what we need to get things back in motion here. But I will say this, it's going to probably take a coordinated move from the overall crypto market, and we'll obviously see how that plays out as the month progresses. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.